She was wondering if we were ready.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any public comments at this point? Okay, verification of posting of the agenda.
Crystal Machado, for the record, do hereby affirm that I have posted a copy of this notice of public meeting on or before the 14th day of January 2025 between the hours of 1 and 5 at the following locations: the Administrative Building, our Churchill County website, and the State of Nevada website.
Consideration and possible action approval of agenda as submitted or revised. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as provided?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a motion to accept the agenda as submitted and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration and possible action approval of minutes of the meeting held on November 13th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Have a second?
I second.
Who seconded?
Yeah, Aubrey.
Aubrey. Any further discussion? There being none, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the meeting held on November 13th, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, first thing on the agenda is consideration and possible action petition filed by Karen Tayloe, Catherine Smith, Will Stolzenberger for the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners to approve several recommended changes to trapping regulations to reduce the effects of incidental trapping of mountain lions, require trapper education for new licensees, and improve collection of non-target trapping data.
Nobody else noticed there's a big name missing from that?
Moldy.
Not sure why his name is not.
Who is that?
I don't see any sense in going all the way through that petition. It's a lot of pages of nothing but falsehoods, undocumented and unsubstantiated claims in regards to trapping of lions. It's the same old stuff that we've been hearing for 35 or 40 years. It's the same people. Although Smith is kind of a newcomer. I believe he was involved in the lawsuit against Carl Lackey. I was actually surprised Dr. Modi was still semi-active in this. He's using the same arguments that he used back in the late 1970s and early 80s. I actually have a newspaper clipping at home that he took out a full-page ad in the Reno paper predicting within 3 to 4 years bobcats in Nevada were going to be extinct because of the overharvest. Here we are 60 years later with still record harvests. I don't know what more we can say. I know the Nevada Trappers Association is going to have a large delegation at the commission meetings this weekend. We've been, our director of, our political director has been involved deeply with all of the commissioners, and I although there are new Fish and Game Commissioners on there that we haven't dealt with before on this type of subject. It's kind of ironic that he brought this up right before the legislature, although the last thing, Joel Blakesley's been involved with the committee members on the Natural Resource Committee, and I know they've expressed interest or no interest in trapping legislation, but we'll see what happens. So my position on this is that from this board standpoint is that we would request that this petition be denied by the Wildlife Commission. And I'll make that into a motion, that would be the position of this board. Well, let me back up on it. There may be some people that want to comment. So before I make a motion,
Do any of you gentlemen in the audience have anything to say about this? Okay.
you come up to the loudspeaker.
Yeah. And you got to turn it on.
I'm wondering if there's more on the agenda about the trapping that's coming up, or just mountain lions?
Could you
There's
turn
more.
your microphone on?
Not really.
Push the-
Well,
Nothing?
From what it looks like from my standpoint is they're just trying to use that as a reason to instill
Push the little
regulation.
red light
There
on
should
the
be
base
there
of
should be a
that.
button, there you go. So it
There you
seems
go.
to me
it's
like.
on now.
Yeah.
State your name.
My name's Jim Saline. I've been trapping since 1966. So I have a pretty good knowledge of the wildlife and the mountain lion situation. I'm more here for the bobcat and 24-hour thing, if that's going to be brought up. Like I says, I'm new at this, and I don't know when to talk and when to keep my mouth shut.
So the Bobcat, the 24-hour is part of this petition,
Okay,
along with the other regulations.
Okay.
A little closer to it.
Along with the other regulations regarding trap size and things.
are you going to
like
bring that up at a later date?
that. No, that's what we're voting, it's what we're
Okay.
currently voting on.
Okay.
To turn down the entire petition.
Turn down the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some concerns about the 24-hour check. My concerns are, is I'm a longliner. I've been trapping all my life, basically, and I do it for a living, and I pay taxes. And I think if it went to a 24-hour check, one of the complaints is that some of the trappers trap too close to residents. If it goes to a 24-hour check, that's the only place we're going to be able to trap, is we can't, if we get sick or our truck breaks down on a 24-hour check, we're in trouble, we get cited. On a 4-day check or a 96-hour check, we have time to heal and have our stuff fixed. So that's one of the issues. The other issue is I know that they put out, the Department of Wildlife puts out contracts for lions, and we do it for free. So I think if there was more people here that were for the lions not being trapped or caught, or dogs, if lions are the main predator out there. They take the baby sheep, the goats, the deer, the antelope, the elk, the farmers' stuff. Most of my stuff I do for farmers around here, the gazini's, and some of that I do for them, just predator control, basically. And if we don't have predator control, we're going to have too many predators and not enough livestock to handle that. So that's one of my issues. If they do something about that with the mountain lions, I would like to make sure that the contracts that are put out there have to go on the same standards that us trappers have to. They would have to, the Department of Wildlife or the government trappers would have to check every 24 hours also, along with us, which would be impossible. So that's basically, I've been doing it a long time, and there's a lot of literature on it. I'd hate to see trapping go away. Trapping started in prehistoric days. And it's, it's some of us, myself, I don't right now, but I've had a predator control license in Churchill County to take care of pigeons and cats and things that the Department of Wildlife didn't do. I don't have that right now. But all the trappers pay a fee for everything they catch, and they pay a fee for their license. And I think, the ones that got some salt go by the rules. We go by the rules. If we can't check our traps in 96 hours, we usually call somebody with the Department of Wildlife, somebody, and say, my truck's broke, I've got the flu, whatever, I can pin you a thing. Usually they don't go, they go okay. But those are my concerns. I feel that it's still a necessary thing, and I'd hate for it to go away, because then I think that's a stepping stone for a lot of other things to go away, for us hunters and trappers and fishermen and campers. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a big question that I have on this whole thing is they're putting out this data and they're concerned about the mountain lion and things, but from everything that I've heard or understand is lion populations are skyrocketing in some areas, and they're devastating deer herds, they're devastating sheep herd. There's just no basis for it. I really think there's an ulterior motive for this entire thing. I don't think it has anything to do with the lions. I think they just want to ban trapping.
Well, yeah, that.
And I agree with Jim. I'm 100% opposed to this proposal.
Well, again, just a little bit of background on why he picked lions. There was a lady a few years back doing a mountain lion study up in the Virginia range above USA Parkway, all that country. And according to her, she released some lions that were in traps who then experienced delayed mortality. So therefore, Dr. Moley just loved that kind of data. Now, whether it was true or what caused those lions to, they were feeding on horses up there mainly, what caused them to die after being released. We have trappers like Mitch Bailey and stuff that'll catch the same lion 3 times in a month's time, the same lion, with no harmful effects. And we know statewide there's quite a few lions being released. We're one of the few states that don't allow trapping of mountain lions. And we haven't wanted to, as an organization, the trapper organization, we haven't wanted to propose that, because that's just another thing to get the animal rights people stirred up. But here Utah and all these other states allow it. So their motive is to, knowing 24 hours visitation would kill trapping in Nevada. It really would. The Fish and Game Commission cannot change from 96 to 24. That's a state statute. It'd have to go through the legislature. So that is part of their petition, and I think they would like to see the commission say, oh yeah, we endorse it. Then it would have to go to the legislature, and our feeling right now, ours as a trapper association, is we're in pretty good shape at this upcoming legislature in regards to trapping. They do not want to have their committee meetings dominated by trapping issues like they had 6 years ago. And their chairman has pretty much indicated that. They have a lot of water issues and other issues that Natural Resource Committee is going to handle. So,
I find it kind of interesting that here's this petition at the beginning of this trying to essentially block trapping, and then in 2 more topics we're going to talk about what the state spends on trying to control mountain lions.
yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's a future agenda item here, but it's over $500,000 the state wants to spend controlling mountain lions.
Right. So obviously we don't have an issue with not enough mountain lions. There's too many mountain lions if the state's trying to figure out a way to thin them out so that our deer, elk, antelope populations can thrive. The whole thing is just, in my opinion, ridiculous.
So I'll restate that. The motion is to completely oppose the petition submitted by this group to try to outlaw trapping in Nevada.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a first and second motion to oppose the petition from the group concerning the trapping of mountain lions, trapper education, and improved collection of non-target trapping data. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, consideration and possible action, draft fiscal year 2026 predation management plan.
We're going to discuss this topic again, and I'm going to ask again for the state to provide any type of data that shows where this money is actually being used. When you look at what's been spent, we're upwards of $1.6 million on Raven control in 15 years, 16 years. But from 2016 and on, it's been over $120,000 just about every single year. And at this point, where's the data that says any of this is being useful? I think I ask this about every single meeting, but I mean, at some point, the sportsmen are the one that are funding this. This is directly our $3 predator fee that goes into this, and I think we have every right to ask what's being done with this, because I think some of these projects, I think we need to look at a little better, because, you know, with what we're spending on coyote control, I struggle with this, because $75,000.
What would you spend it on?
I would put a bounty on coyotes, personally. I mean, it's just, there's no data, that we have nothing that says, hey, we removed this many. Hey, we've done this to the herd. There's nothing. It's just every time this comes up, hey, we want more money. Hey, we want to spend the money on this. Well, that's fine, but it's funded by the sportsman. The sportsman should have a right to know what's happening with this money. What changes have been made, and what's gotten better.
Okay.
I just figured you were leaving because what we were talking about.
That agenda item doesn't come up on the screen, huh? The details of it? I was just wondering, like, the first page where it talks about the, what is there, 6 projects now, at least there's a lot.
We're down to 6.
There's a lot less. We aren't studying sage grouse now. We're killing them. That's a good deal.
Not sage grouse, ravens.
No, ravens, yeah. Well, we're killing them too. So we can have a hunting season, so we can kill them.
But something like that, like what you just said. We've spent $1.5 million on raven studies. We could have saved $500,000 to $750,000 if we just said, yeah, we have a raven problem. Why don't we just allow hunters to take ravens? I don't understand it.
Well, it's a federal law. You can't just do that. I mean,
Why?
Because it's a federally protected by an international treaty.
So how do you get that changed? Well, because obviously they're gonna use.
I would suggest talking to Trump.
I'll call him up. He called me during the election, so I'll call him. I don't know. It's just the whole thing's frustrating for me, because we just see this every single time, and they never present data that says this is what we've done with your sportsman's money. And so to me, that part's frustrating. And we still have a lion problem in most of the state. I think that the coyote population, are they looking at Eureka again? Because it seems like they've been looking at that for years. What are we doing at this point that we just keep throwing money at the same thing every single time we talk about it? I know that they've made a change in this, the person that's doing this, and you know, maybe we'll start seeing some differences. I'm just, like I said, I struggle with the amount of money that's being spent. And
Well, we can formally request copies of their completion reports if we want to go that route. I mean, they have to provide them. If it, you get a
I've asked for
formal-
them at every meeting.
Well, you've asked for them,
I've asked for the guy that's in charge to come to the meetings, and
he's no
because I have
longer,
those questions, but he's not there anymore. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
you
just-
know, 2 years ago when the legislature met, they did change that $3 fee to where the sportsman had the right to say, I want my money to go to lethal control or to habitat. And I see where 66% of the sportsmen identified they wanted to go to predator wildlife control, and 34% for habitat research and management. I understand from reading this, the state wants to bank that 34%, which was 373,000, and until that account builds up to where they have enough money to do a project, you know, like big pinyon juniper, who knows what, buy seed for fire rehab. So there was $1,095,000 allocated to that out of that $3 fee, and so there's around 600,000. Well, 722,000 can go to predator management, and actually the projects that they've narrowed it down to, I think, are getting a lot closer to what that project or that money was intended to. Where, like you said, it was a raven study, driving the highway, counting how many dead rabbits in the highway and how many rabbits ravens. That's all been eliminated. I know there's money going to the deer herd up in North Warsaw. Some of this, I'd like to see those reports too. Some of it's probably pretty hard to document. You know, if you kill 50 lions, what do you have to show from? Except for 50 lions, knowing that's saved a lot of deer, but you can't really put a number to the deer.
No, but you could put a number to the lions. Your $120,000 went towards removing 50 lions out of this area. Well, then it comes down to, is that a smart use of money, or do we start figuring out other ways to control that? Because, like I said, there's no accountability for where the money is going. There's no, like you said, they've changed the way, so you can select where that money goes. Well, that's great, but I have no data that states that the predator or the lethal removal is working. Because what I see is a number that's increasing year over year since 2018, and it just continues to increase. However, our lion populations are as strong as ever. So what are we doing? How is it actually making a difference?
Just in regards to the sage grouse, they do say in their narrative that at the time that the leaks, the sage grouse strutting around the leaks are, and the production is monitored, if it reaches 3 chicks per adult female, which is good for sage grouse, then this project would cease. So they are at least doing brood surveys. And I think what you want to see is you want to see that data, which is probably some of it in the small game recommendation book. But at a future meeting, we could, I'd say right now it's not on the agenda to request it, but don't know if it is or not. We could make a formal request for the completion reports in regards to these 6 projects. We could send a letter, a formal request from the Churchill County Wildlife Advisory Board.
I mean, am I the only one that's curious? Obviously, if I'm the only one, I don't see a point in doing that. I might just be argumentative. But I think that data is important for us to make, informed decisions and vote on things like that.
I agree, there should be some type of deliverable or metrics in place to make sure the money's being used wisely and is effective.
Yep.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I think we could make
I'll make a request.
under this agenda item, I think it would be covered
Appropriate
to make a request that
for completion reports is what we're looking for.
progress reports is
Progress
probably,
reports.
because these are continuing projects, to where we could make an educated decision on whether to approve these. I know that we're going to have at least 3 more meetings on the same subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even have project goals.
You want to make that motion to?
Yeah, I can just make the motion, right? I'll make a motion that we request the progress reports for these 6 projects so that we can make an informed decision based on data.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Sure.
Jim Saling, here, I live here in Fallon. On the Lions situation, there's a pretty easy remedy to it. Every trapper I know in the state of Nevada carries a lion tag in their pocket. We're not allowed to take lions, so we call the Department of Wildlife and have them tranquilize it and take it out of our trap and let it go. Or we choke it down ourselves and let it go. Choking it down is by putting it to sleep for a minute and letting it go, taking the trap off its foot and then letting it go. We would, if we were allowed to take a lion with a lion tag and all legal, we'll do it for free. So, just a thought.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to formally request from the commission the progress reports on the completion of the projects, the 6
Request for the
projects.
department. The department, not the commission.
The department on the predation management plan.
I'll make a motion that we take no action on this until we receive our request for the progress reports.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have another motion.
Do we got to vote on the first motion?
Oh, no, we didn't. All those in favor of the first motion requesting the progress reports on the 6 projects, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have another motion that we take no action until we receive the progress reports on the predation management plan. We have a first and a second motion for that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, consideration and possible action, Commission General Regulation 524. Bonus points associated with junior hunt application.
So it sounds like, I did a little bit of digging into this one, and what it sounds like is if you have a hunter that is going to turn 12 during the big game season, so they're not eligible for a junior tag, because say they turn 12 in September, and that makes them ineligible, they can apply for a standard hunt, as long as they turn 12 before the start of that date. What they're asking for is the ability for that bonus point to convert, or basically junior points, bonus points in general, to just be bonus points. So they're not separated by junior hunt versus a standard tag, is what they're asking for.
I read it and fully didn't understand it, but in their summary on top, it's basically doesn't have any major impact.
No, I don't think it would. I think they're just trying to, because,
Clarify it.
what's that?
I think you're just trying to clarify it.
Yeah, because right now, again, if you have that junior who applies for, say they apply for a late tag, and they get a bonus point, well, that bonus point, it goes away if they don't then reapply. They lose their bonus point in 2 years. Well, then they become a junior, so they're eligible for a junior hunt, so they don't necessarily apply for that. So they're just asking for bonus points to no longer be separated by junior versus a standard. They just want it to be deer tags for their bonus points.
Well, I think they're also stating that they don't want to have to transfer them in the event that the junior is no longer a junior or eligible for junior tags, but has junior bonus points. They don't want to have to transfer the customer's junior bonus points when becomes ineligible for junior hunts.
Yeah. So their bonus points that they bank would just turn into a standard bonus point. Essentially, they would no longer be a junior tag bonus point. It would just be a bonus point for that species.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. I don't have a big
Yeah.
issue with that. I'll make a motion to approve Commission General Regulation, is it 524?
524, yeah.
Yeah, 524.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a motion and a second to approve General Regulation 524, bonus points associated with junior hunt applications. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, Commission Regulation 25-01, application deadlines, draw results, and the 2026 spring turkey season.
I don't see any big impact. Does anybody else?
No.
Basically the same.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-01.
I second.
Was that you, Aubrey?
Yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve Commission Regulation 2501, application deadlines, draw results, and the 2026 spring turkey season. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion opposed? Motion passed. Next item, consideration of possible action, Commission Regulation 2502, game tag application eligibility and tag limits 2025.
It's just basically dropping the word big
Yep.
for big game, so I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-02.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh, snap.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, we have a motion and a second to approve Commission Regulation 2502, game tag application eligibility and tag limits 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration and possible action, Commission Regulation 2503, dream tag seasons and quotas for 2025.
Looks like the quota is 1.
Yeah.
I think the quota is 1 every single year, so I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-03.
I second.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a first and second motion approving Commission Regulation 2503, dream tag seasons and quotas for 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration of possible action, Commission Regulation 2504, heritage tag seasons and quotas for 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 2504, 05, 06.
I'll second all of those.
Okay, so you're saying
All those special tags.
G, H, and I.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no change in them.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh, you can't.
Who seconded?
Oh,
Andrew?
That was,
for
Items G, H, and I.
G, H, and I.
yeah,
04, 05, and 06.
I'll let you have it, Drew. It's fine.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a motion and a second to approve items, Commission Regulation 2504, 2505, and 2506. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, consideration of possible action, Commission Regulation 2507, big game seasons for 25, 26 season and 26 and 27 season.
Okay, this is strictly establishing the season dates. It's not any to do with the quotas, just so.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, there's a new junior antelope?
They're proposing a
Orange
antlerless
Ribbon.
Yeah.
junior antelope.
Looks like they're shortening the time frame for the muzzleloader hunts in 11, 12 through 14, 15, 31, and 51.
Shortening it?
That's what it looks like. October.
For which species, Andrew?
It looks like they shortened it for muzzleloader.
Deer, right?
Just says muzzleloader seasons for hunt units. And then archery seasons for hunt units. Oh, this is under antelope, sorry.
That's all for animal.
Yeah, there's a shift in dates, but I don't see it shortening.
I wonder if that's to accommodate the junior tag, maybe?
So like the changes in archery season is August 1st to August 21, changes August 1st to August 14th, so that takes a week off. And then October,
Okay.
September 24th to October 4th is what, 2 weeks? 11 days?
And it's,
And it changes it from that to August 15th to August 21st, which is only 6 days.
so it looks like when you go down to the junior season, it looks like those dates correspond. So it looks like they're taking away from those seasons to provide a junior season. And that's on page 6 of that document that you're looking at.
Page one, one has a summary on those.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you go all the way to the bottom, it shows the dates,
Yeah.
and their dates are September 8th through September 24th. So that affects the muzzleloader, I think. And then they're expanding the primitive antlered hunt, it looks like, for junior deer hunters.
No. So that shortened season isn't for the same units. Because the proposed junior hunts are 4-3 through 4-6, 6-1, 6-2, and the shortened units are 11, 12, 14, 15, 31, 051.
Oh. I stand corrected. I don't know what the reasoning is then.
I don't know what the reasoning is either. I just don't know why they're shortening from 2 weeks plus to 1 week, or in some cases 6 days.
Well, it looks like, so, no. So they're getting removal of early and late season for 041-042. Those aren't the affected units by the junior tag either. That's, I don't know. It may be a population thing. I wish Jason was back. He may be able to speak better on that.
I don't have any heartburn with any of the proposed season dates. I assume there's a rationale for every one of them, but I don't.
I don't honestly.
Without their support data,
Yeah. I honestly don't hunt any of those units either, so I don't know enough. I don't know enough about it.
This isn't about you.
No, I agree, but really that's something that would affect the residents of those areas that get those tags
Yeah.
more than it would me. I can't even weigh in on it. I have no
they
idea.
are recommending an archery ram hunt in 184 out here in the Desatoyas.
Oh, really?
That's a new area, and also in the Stillwaters. it'll probably be at one tag or so, but
Yeah. I also saw they were, opening, speaking of Jason, do you know the reasoning for shortening the antelope muzzleloader seasons in 11 through 14, or 11 through
North
15?
Marshall.
North,
Yeah, muzzleloader and archery.
yeah.
For 111,
No, 011 through 014, or through 015, and then 031 and 051.
because he went with a, I think he changed, didn't he change the archery season, or he changed some other season besides that?
Yeah, he changed the muzzleloader season from September 24th to October 4th. He changed that to August 15th through August 21st. So it went from 2 weeks to 6 days.
So it aligns with like 041, 042? I think
But
the only reason on that, I think, is just trying to go with an earlier season and align with one of those other seasons. I don't think there's any other reason for it, just switching a time period besides September 25th.
Well, and then like you said, it shortened it from 2 weeks to 6 days for muzzleloader, and then for archery seasons changed from August 1 to August 21, changed to August 1 to August 14th. So it took a third week off of that as well.
So muzzleloader's only 6 days?
Muzzleloader's proposed to be 6 days, and archery's proposed to be 2 weeks instead of 3.
And that's the same as 041, 042 season?
Let's see.
6 days seems short, but
Right.
I can't remember what the muzzleloader season's been running. September 25th to something.
Any legal. Muzzleloader 41 is, 41 to 42 is 6 days, August 15th to 21st.
Yeah, nothing's ringing a bell in relation to, because those are the same, unless previously the muzzleloader season 041, 042 was longer, but it must have been 6 days before. They just chose an earlier time frame. Earlier time frame only just because you're shooting them prior to the rifle season. It is harder because the rut is starting to get over, and you're trying to sneak up on antelope that have been shot with a rifle.
Okay, we were just
He might have
curious.
just tried to increase his success because up there they've been having lower success overall compared to statewide.
I was just curious if there's any other justification for knocking a week off in one and 6 days off the other. But- Okay.
Not that I know of as far as the week off. If that week off, if it was a week longer last year, is what you're saying,
Let's go to archery.
for that particular time frame?
Yeah.
Jason Salisbury.
Any
Well, yeah, I
further
don't know.
questions?
No, it also looks like they opened up Unit 212 for Desert Bighorn. Changed description of hunt unit groups to include actual mountain range names. That's kind of nice. And then the primitive antlered hunts. I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-07.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a first and second motion to approve Commission Regulation 2507 big game seasons for 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item, Commission Regulation 2508 black bear season.
I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-08. There's no change to it.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? There being none, we have a first and second motion to approve Commission Regulation 2508, black bear seasons. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, consideration and possible action, Commission Regulation 2509, mountain lion season and harvest limits.
I'll make a motion to approve Commission Regulation 25-09 and 25-10. There are no changes to either of those that I can see.
I second.
Was that you, Aubrey?
Yes.
Thank you. You're too soft in your voice. Thank you. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve Commission Regulation 2509, mountain lion season and harvest limits, and Commission Regulation 2510, restricted non-resident guided mule deer seasons and quotas. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Final item, consideration and possible action, update from member Jason Silbley on Idaho process for salvage regulation with possible action to direct whatever action the board may deem appropriate in an effort to develop a salvage regulation.
That's Idaho.
So Andrew and I worked on this. I'm going to pass out what Idaho's website shows. Idaho's process is, it seems to me to be very, very easy. I gave you one too many. In Idaho, essentially, if you come upon a roadkill animal or you are involved in hitting a roadkill animal, you simply log on to their website, fill out a document, and submit that to their Department of Wildlife. It looks to me like there's very little really interaction or any kind of burden on the Department of Wildlife or Idaho. It's self-reporting. They have a website. You click on the website, you follow the link, and you fill out the tag. Or you can call or go into their offices. From what I understand, from what it was looking like, it seems very, very, permits are free. There's no cost. They do put some disclaimers on their site that anybody harvesting or anybody salvaging is doing so at their own risk. If they get sick, obviously they can't sue the state. I'll pass those out too. I had Andrew draft this before we came this evening. And so this is essentially what we would propose to the commission and then to the legislature, because I understand it requires legislative action in order to approve this. So just some key topics. We would obviously outline what kind of species can be harvested or salvaged. I gotta stop saying harvested. It would cover deer, elk, and antelope right now. We would not have bighorn sheep, mountain goat, or moose on that, or any of the other. It also specifically excludes domesticated animals and any protected or endangered species. Individuals must obtain the roadkill salvage permit available online. Permits must be required within 24 hours of harvesting. They have to report the location and date of the incident. Only animals deemed recently deceased and safe for human consumption may be harvested. That's going to be something that's going to be up to the person harvesting. Again, there's going to be a disclaimer. It states, well, right below, consume at your own risk. The state and the department are not liable if you get sick. It states that harvesting roadkill intentionally hit is illegal and punishable by law. Scavenging from active roadways without proper safety measures is prohibited. Salvage meat is for personal use only and cannot be sold or traded. Individuals must remove all salvage animal parts from the roadway to ensure safety and prevent traffic hazards. And roadkill harvesting must comply with all traffic laws and regulations. Those are kind of the bullet points that we came up with between us, and we wanted to kind of see what your thoughts were.
Idaho use the term harvest?
Um,
There's this,
it says salvage.
yeah. Just harvest sounds like intentional.
And that's why I kept saying that. So probably we need
Yeah.
to change the word harvest to salvage.
I was trying to think of what's the next step we could take? You want to do it through a petition?
I think at this point, we need to do a petition to the commission. We were talking about it, and I think what we do is we attach this letter to our original letter, and then we attach the other cab support emails to that to show that the other cabs are in support of this. And then we see at that point what the next steps are. I don't know if it's something they'd have to workshop. I don't know any of that. But
Well, I think all they'd have to do is, as a department, they could use up one of their legislative introduction. They're allowed so many every agency. Otherwise, to get something at the legislature, you gotta get a hold of maybe our local assemblyman or assemblywoman, what have you, and get them to use up one of theirs. You know, that we can't submit to the legislature.
right.
So I would think it'd have to, you wouldn't want to do all that and have the commission oppose it. So I think it was, as a petition, go to
The commission first.
commission.
That's my thought too. I think that we could get, theoretically, we could get the Department of Wildlife support on this because I think it's gonna free up some resources for them having to go out and remove animals from roadways.
More, that's the trouble.
I know they just did one a month and a half ago where they had a deer hit on the highway that I was the second pull up on, and the first person wanted to harvest it and was told no. So this would free up some resources for Department of Wildlife. This could free up resources for the road department because they're not going to have to go out and clear these out, because I know that it falls under kind of a weird gray area of who's responsible for it.
So
I just
format
really
for
don't see a
petition.
negative to this at all.
Format for petitions on the website, so we could fill it out and use these as attachments. And try to get it to the commission for their next agenda.
Okay?
I guess it's gonna have to go pretty fast.
When's their next agenda?
Well, I imagine January or February meeting, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know when the,
So what does Idaho say in relation to like liability for somebody trying to pull something off the highway and getting hit on the highway or?
It's at your own
that.
risk.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
The time they act is probably gonna be too late to introduce anything to the legislature.
Then the only other
There's a
issue
time.
I have is just,
There's a
you would
time
think would be like, I guess it would be, the trophy quality, because it's just one of those, that'd be the only thing I think the law enforcement people would probably have
As far
some
as-
hangups, because just a big deer gets hit and everybody's wanting to, because normally they would probably just dispose them in the desert or something, a big deer gets hit, everybody wants its antlers. That'd be the only hang-up I could see with, I
But,
guess, that thing, but it's still a salvage or whatever.
and that's just it. That's part of the permit, is it requires you
Yeah.
to remove all parts.
Yeah.
So you want the antlers and you've determined that the meat's no good, you're still required to remove that and dispose of it.
Yeah.
So that takes that responsibility off of the
That's the only
department.
hiccup I see with any of that would be the size of something and somebody just being as quickly as possible.
I know that
And then
was,
the only other thing would probably be, what the department would be collecting. We collect samples from CWD, from roadkill animals. And maybe not have as much opportunity, as far as I can see with the department, getting more of those road opportunities, I guess, for CWD sampling. That's the only thing I can see. but-
and that's something that we could discuss too, is having that where if CWD does become an issue here, and you're in CWD areas or statewide, you can say, if you do salvage a deer, you have to take, whether it's the spine, the head,
Idaho has it
whatever.
referenced too. They monitor spread of CWD and using roadkill is a valuable resource for testing. Idaho Fish and Game is acting to limit the spread of CWD. CWD management zones, you have to be aware of special rules, salvage and transport.
Okay.
And as far as, at least on their like bulletins on their website for claiming this tag, as far as the safety, it says, before you claim any roadkill salvage, consider the safety of yourself and fellow travelers. Always abide by traffic and safety laws.
So don't park your road in the middle of the highway.
Little disclaimer.
Don't park your road in the
But
middle, or
that
car in the
doesn't-
middle of the
That
highway.
doesn't go into regulation.
No, that's just their
That's
recommendation.
just, yeah.
It frees the state from liability. if
Yeah, because I
something
know,
happens.
in Alaska, they're on like, people are like on call lists, but, you know, they're hitting a lot more moose and
Montana's the same way. I know they have an
call
active
lists for
list.
people that'll show up, or I don't know who's
Yeah,
cutting up the parts to get them to the people or what, but.
our intention of this was just to try and make it as simple as possible to at least get a system in place. If it becomes a problem of people fighting over who gets to claim the big deer or something like that, then maybe later we can implement a list or something, but just trying to get something on the books for now that you can do something with it.
Well, the other thing too is to, again, try and lift some of that pressure from law enforcement, from Department of Wildlife, from the road department. Because it's going to be it's essentially less that they have to do. They're not going to have to respond to every deer that gets hit on the highway. Now it's going to be somebody with a salvage permit can stop and take that deer.
Yeah, the only thing written that we have is I guess non-natural processes. So anything right now under the letter of the law, anything that's not natural, and they're deeming cars and semi-trucks non-natural, there's no way to supposedly keep it
Right.
under what the game wardens state, I guess.
So, next step is fill out the petition.
Yes.
Does anybody know how to do that?
I can get it.
You can get it?
I can get it.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
I don't want to be pessimistic, but I don't think there's going to be time to get it in the legislature.
When's the legislature?
Well, it starts
First of February.
2 weeks, but it goes for 90 days, but to the 1st of May. But they have calendar deadlines when bills can be introduced and get out of committee. And it's going to be darn close by the time the commission meets.
Okay.
But
Well, even if it's not an immediate this year thing, if we can at least get that process
No,
started.
Progress.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, any further action?
Nope.
There being none?
I gotta get Ira Hanson to introduce.
Okay. Consideration of possible action items listed on Nevada Board of Wildlife Commission agenda for January 24th, 25th. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss that was on that agenda that we didn't have on ours? There's being none. Consider future agenda items. We have any? Other than to track the status of this.
Yeah. The progress report on the predation or predator management.
And this in our petition. Okay. Any further public comment? Okay, call for adjournment at 8 o'clock.